So here the round column mill dude is again. I so want to be done with this project, I'm here to tell you. The controller is obviously constantly gets added to. I mean, that's the easy part. I mean, the controller was the cosmetic aspect that I thought was really neat, but to be user friendly and to make it enjoyable to operate. So as you know, I've got the spindle done. Here, I'll shut that light off. Got the spindle done. Rat's nest up there yet, but I finally got to the point to where I had a toolbox over here with all my tool indexes and my tool libraries and whatnot. Had a toolbox over here, right there. Something up here was nice, but it just seemed like it was going to get in the way. So what I'm going to do here, I think, is it'd be nice to possibly cut this off and eliminate that drawer to where I could get a shallow pan, you know, a shallow wide pan. Not sure how that's going to work out, but as of right now, that's just kind of in the way. I really hate my shop in disrepair to where I can't. I have several other things I need to be doing over here, cylinder heads and carburetors, but I'm trying to get some of this stuff finalized and just finished up and just all tidied up, and to where I can say, okay, we're good. But yesterday I finally got this to where pretty happy with it. Here, we'll turn that one on. I've got 2000s backlash. I've noticed these Gibbs are they definitely have a wear pattern that they like. I'm hoping that when I start running it, I will alleviate some of that. These are just the rapids. I don't think it'll have any problem under feed. It's kind of hard to tell. What I ended up doing here was these well, anything for that matter. The bore here that your lead screw went through essentially was 32 millimeter. Okay. And the OD of the ball screw was 12 millimeter. So rather than make a complete, bearing block to where the bearings were pressed in that block, I wanted to keep that given hole right there, and basically, I mean, there was maybe a little bit of interference on the press as far as the bearings, but not much. They basically slipped in there. So that being said, I drilled and tapped a bolt that basically will aid as a stop for the bearings. I have two bearings stacked in there. Okay. Excuse me. I have two bearings in there. I can push in. This is where it ended up. So I made this, basically all this does is just puts, I think it was 5/1000ths preload on pushing, stacking these bearings and pushing that. So there's a step machined in there. I machined this just all on the fly on the Wizards on this machine over here. It actually come out really nice. It bolted right on. It fit very well. And then, like I said, then these standoffs for your motors. eBay's $8 a piece. Then of course your coupler. I mean, it's just working super nice. So we'll have to see. I got everything dialed in as far as steps per inch and the backlash. So, but I had some 420 ounce, but I ran across these on eBay, and I think they were 570, and ended up getting 2 of them for 65 bucks shipped. I didn't think that was too bad, given and it had a dual shaft if I want to put a knob on the backside here, but I highly doubt it. But I'm gonna do a Lexan cover or shroud. This all is going to be encased in vinyl hose, white or black or whatever I end up with. I don't care. Just to kind of get it up and out of the way. Keep any kind of coolant or what have you, chips, or out of the harm's way. So I'm just going to do a flat shroud here, you know, which is the norm. I'm going to use Lexan, and then I'm going to mask. I'm going to paint it green, and then I'll mask this window here, because I want to be able to see if there's any kind of slippage on the set screws or whatever down the line. That way it's not, you know, out of sight, out of mind. I can basically monitor that. This here is plumbed into the ball screw for right now. This is going to come up around here. I'm going to plumb each side of this the way, and then that'll get oiled. All of this, the ball screws, the ways, everything will be hopefully on this one button. It's an electronic oiler. My hopes is that I can say run an X and Y program in either a circular pattern or linear squared, and then as it's doing that, I'd like to be able to add the oiler in the software off an OEM code, but I don't know if I'll do that yet or not. But as of right now, after it's done, like I said, I've got a long ways to go. So, but I think it's going to really be a nice little piece. I mean, for what it is, I think I've spent a ton of hours on YouTube. From what I've seen, I think this thing is going to be, for a round column mill, I do believe that it's going to be a nice unit. But like I said, limit switches, oilers, and then like I said, I haven't scraped any kind of ways before, so what I opted to do was, I had this all together, and I basically took valve seat lap compound, and then I lapped all the ways in, and then can't see there, I just did a pattern to where it'll actually load oil. Can't really see there. It's not real important, you know, how that is, just so I still got to do this side here yet. I want to be able to load oil in the ways, and then that will create a bed, a bed of oil, to where then, since I don't have any linear slides or what have you, then I have to rely on these. But I got them about as tight as a guy could get. I think I maybe got a 1/2 thousandths. If I put a dial indicator here and wiggle the table when I tighten that gib up, I think I got a 1/2 thousandths. If I try to get it any tighter than that, then there's shitty spots to where where the table didn't see any kind of duty cycle or work, then it wants to kind of bog the motor down. But I'm trying to set the motors up to where they got a decent amount of rapid, but don't lose a ton of power, but it seems that I can push on this when I'm under load on the ball screw, and you know, I can't stall it out. So I mean, I can, but it takes a little bit. So that's where I'm headed right now. Is I've got a lot, looks like a lot to do, but I think here in the next couple of weeks, I think the thing's really gonna start to be, you know, start to wrap it up. As my main goal is to get all the oil lines in. Like I said, this will come up here. And I'll just start to tee off, and I'll get all my, I'll plumb into all these ways on my Y, and then come up around here and on the back side and the front side. And I just want to be able to, I think, yeah, I don't know how I'm going to do that yet, but like I said, here's these little blocks that I got for the ball screws. Got that in there to where it's pretty square. So once that table's back on, then I'll put my guard in, chip guard. After all said and done, everything's, I tap these to where even though the table's not level, I can actually level the machine up. And then the bed will have, you know, the bed will fill up with your coolant, and then I'll have hoses that will drain, because I'll have a sink drain right here, and I got the coolant reservoir right there. The sink drain will drain back into there, but the hoses, you know, you'll fill your table up in any splash over or whatever. I mean, that really isn't a big deal. I mean, it'll drain. This will be, have a vision of, you know, this slant here, that'll be all pan. Of course, I can only go this high. That'll be pan there, and then if I can get rid of this, that'll be pan there as well. And then I'll have a front guard in front of it, and then I'll put the thing that I made that has here, you know, has doors that slide back and forth. So seems to me like she's kind of wrapping up. I need to stop working on it, but yet I need to get some things done as well. So I just want to get the, you know, turnkey mill and plug and play type deal, that to where I can just come out here and I can, you know, run it, you know, index a part or whatever, and either make it up on the Wizards or whatever the case is. I want to, you know, turnkey mill, and I'm pretty sure I'm getting close, but Jesus, it's just a long road. So that's about it for tonight. Thanks.